name's Jane Grover, and I'm actually a chef and a cookbook author. I started out cooking as an apprentice chef and worked in fine dining restaurants, and then came down more of a road of whole food cooking and ended up getting really interested in gardening as well. My favourite thing to grow 100% is tomatoes. I've been gardening for probably about 7 or 8 years, and I think it was just a combination of getting to know farmers and also wanting to sort of get back to the seasons. Food is all about the seasons, and to garden is the best way to actually find out what is in season and be cooking with that produce. Gardening is one of those learn as you go, and I don't think you ever stop learning. Probably my great disasters were either growing things from seed that took up a lot of space in my garden and did not produce a lot of crops, a lot of harvest. I think gardening is definitely a therapy. It's about being outside, it's about working with the seasons, and it's about developing patience. And it's also extremely rewarding when you actually see the fruits of your labour harvested at the end of each season. I think you need to grow stuff that you know you'll eat. So one year I grew like lots and lots and lots of beetroot, which was great, but we don't really eat lots and lots of beetroot. So now I grow things that I know we're going to eat a lot of. We're going to make some sweet corn and zucchini fritters, and we're going to use some of the shallots that we got out of the garden and some of the parsley and some of our eggs from our lovely friends the hens. So the recipe that we made today, the sweet corn and zucchini fritters, I'm going to give you a couple of tips on how to do that well. So I'm just squeezing the liquid. The reason I put the salt in the zucchini is to get the liquid out of it. We salted the zucchini, as you would see, and that was mainly to just draw the moisture out of the zucchini so that when you add the zucchini to the fritter mix, you're not going to end up with them exuding a whole lot of liquid at the time of cooking, which means you're going to not end up with a soggy fritter. So that's tip number one. When we go over to the stove and we're looking at how we're going to cook the fritters, I chose coconut oil today. The reason I chose coconut oil is because it provides a really great crunch and not necessarily an overpowering flavour in the pan, but you do need to make sure you don't get your pan too hot because you don't want your oil to be smoking. You want your oil to be temperature controlled so that your food doesn't burn and your oil doesn't become lacking in nutrition and flavour. And another thing that I did, which you probably saw me do on the recipe today, is to roll the lime on the cutting board, just the heat of the palm of my hand, rolling on the lime and massaging the juices within the lime. And then when you cut it in half, suddenly all this juice is just pouring out instead of you throwing that lime in the bin. Cooking is not supposed to be complicated. The simpler the better. And to take a tomato or a fresh lettuce out of the garden, some carrots, some herbs, and add them to what you're doing in the kitchen, it's not rocket science, you know. And I think that if people could just even start with a little pot and grow a few herbs themselves, a couple of little lettuces, they'll understand the true reward of taking it from garden to plate.